What sort of instruments work best with JamHub and why?
Well, they all work with JamHub. There's no exception to the rule here. Sometimes you hear, I think the main concern that a lot of people have is acoustic drums. Even with acoustic drums, the benefits are really strong. The weakest signal in a band is a vocal. You know, when you use a vocal, you can use it at a certain level for a certain time. The drummer dictates the noise level in a group. Once you hit a cymbal, that's like 117 dB that just splashes in your face. A physical reaction, a human reaction to this, is to start going louder because you want to go louder than that cymbal. The guitar and the bass are going to do that automatically because for them it's just turning a knob. For the vocal, that's a totally different story. You're starting to push your body to such an extent that after half an hour you have no voice left. So once you start, even with an overhead on a drum, once you start using JamHub, you'll be in a situation where you have total control over your own mix and your own level. So instead of rehearsing half an hour, you can easily do an hour, 2 hours, because you're not competing with any instruments anymore. And that helps. On top of that, for drummers, there again, because everything is not loud around them, they have headphones on. It's like in studios. You're gonna get focused on groove, not on volume. So everyone benefits in the end, and of course there's no more feedback, which is great, you know. I remember being really annoyed with feedback in my bands, but as far as all the instruments go, most questions will be about the acoustic drums, and I've answered that. The other instruments, basically the philosophy applies. Horns, there's wonderful products made by manufacturers to play horns silently. That works really well with JamHub. Backing vocals, well, every slice has microphones, so backing vocals is not an issue. I would say really traditional, in this case like Chinese instruments, you just mic them and put the headphones on and you have control. That's basically it. But there's no, JamHub does not work with, it works with everything.
Guitarists are very concerned about their tone.
Mm-hmm.
So as JamHub has completely eliminated the actual need for amplifiers, how could guitarists create their desired tone in such settings? Does JamHub come with amp modeling functions?
Okay, there's one part of this sentence that you're asking me that I would say our intention has never been to eliminate amplifiers. Our intention was always on how do you get the best rehearsal possible done. So the best rehearsals are, yes, about tone, but they're about structure and they're about getting the groove together. So loud noise normally doesn't help to get to these targets. So amplifiers, you can still use your amplifier. If that's really part of your tone, just put your amplifier a bit lower in sound level, put a microphone in it, boom, everyone, headphones on, and you go. But what we see is that most players use it with modeling pedals because there's a headphone out. It's a stereo out, this is a headphone environment, so it's a stereo environment. So everything that you go from a headphone out into the JamHub sounds really good. So no issues with amplifiers, because amplifiers will be there forever. But for rehearsals, sometimes it's a bit of an overkill.
I heard that the JamHub comes with some basic effects. What are those? Can you introduce?
I can. They're basically listed at the back of the unit. We were aiming mainly for reverbs. because what we noticed, and this is a global thing, is that singers don't invest money in reverbs. Not enough. I wouldn't say all of them, but the majority don't. They buy a good mic, and they might buy a good microphone stand sometimes, but they don't have a tendency to buy a reverb. So that's why we wanted to make sure, especially because in this case, like for the backing vocals, if you have your drummer and your keyboard player or anyone in the group that does backing vocals, we didn't want everyone to go and start plugging in reverbs on top of it, so we put reverb in, and that just makes the whole sound sweet.
Could you tell us more about the R section?
The R section stands for record or rear. So basically you choose how you want this. You choose if you're going to use that last back section for recording or an additional player. Basically this slice or this slice or this slice is exactly this, it just has a different form to it. So on most R units, the green room and tour bus, you got a USB out. So from your USB out, you go straight into a laptop or a digital audio workstation, whatever it is, and it will recognize the signal as a stereo wave file, regardless what it is. And you just can convert it into something else later. You can go analog out and then convert it to digital. You would just use the direct out for that. It's so easy. You don't even have to load drivers and all that. I don't have a long explanation for this. You just go USB out, USB in, go.
In the music instruments market today, is there any product that offers similar functions? If yes, why is JamHub a better deal?
I still believe we're alone. I think we're the only product that offers these solutions in such a compact bundle. So, no, we're alone.
How could JamHub be used in a classroom setting and in band camps?
Oh, I would love to invite people to go to YouTube for that and just put in JamHub Teach and JamHub Jam Camp and all these type of things. We have people like Victor Wooten, who does bass camp with our JamHub. Basically, the story goes into that sense. Kids want to play music that they hear on YouTube. That means modern music. Most schools are not equipped to give modern music programs. And the main reason is that they don't have isolated rooms. To isolate a room sonically is a difficult and fairly expensive exercise. So for the price of one room isolation, you could actually equip 3 rooms with JamHub and all the instruments. Good quality instruments. You could do that for the same amount of money than isolating one room without any instruments. So what we have now is that teachers have seen this and they understand the economic proposition. Now they go like, okay, we just take one big room and we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bands next to each other, just with a simple divider, and done. You know, freedom for all, more music. That's the story again.
How is JamHub going to influence and reshape the band culture today?
We have our own theory about this, but it's mainly, again, the same story. We want more bands to be able to play and to get better. And there's an old school answer to this as well. We want people to not be stuck in front of their computer all the time and connect again. Music is a community thing. It's about a tribe. Once you're a player, you are part of that tribe. It's a buzz. It has an own language. It's about sharing stuff, because when you play, you want to be heard. There's a whole world around this, and I think Well, I like to believe, let me say it that way, I like to believe that JamHub will be the surfing board to cross that wave.